I'm going to walk you through a $2 million business that nearly ended this year. Not because anything went wrong, but because of three things that we're quietly building for 12 months. By the time we're done, you'll know what these three things look like, why they stay invisible, and how to catch them in your own business before December. I'm Philip, I run 10 Accounting, and I've spent years pulling apart service businesses that looked fine on the outside and weren't. The case: a general contractor close to $2 million in revenue, 10 years in business, consistent work, a team that knew what they were doing, clients who came back. By every visible measure, the business was solid. His CPA did the books once a year, filed taxes, reconciled everything, moved on. That was the financial relationship. When we sat down together, we were reviewing what happened over the past year. The decisions that created the numbers we were looking at had been made 12 months ago. There was nothing to fix, only to understand. Going into December, he had gone negative on cash. Not because work was slow, because some months brought in $100,000 in collections and others brought in $20,000. Expenses ran consistently either way, and nobody had been watching the pattern close enough to see it coming, what had been building. Here's what a year of not looking actually produces. Expenses. Subscriptions had renewed at a higher rate, and a vendor contract quietly increased. His team had grown, but the cost structure hadn't been reviewed. None of those were bad decisions. Together, they had shifted his margin without anyone noticing. Collections. The uneven months had always been there. Feast months, famine months. But because he was only looking at year-end totals, the pattern was never visible. He had no idea when money was actually expected to arrive versus when it wasn't. Owner labor. This one was the most invisible of all. He was doing his own sales, own estimating, work that market rate would easily be $80,000 to $100,000 a year to replace. He never paid himself for it, so his margin looked better than it actually was. When we built the real model, the picture changed completely. Three things building at once, none of them visible at year end, all of them obvious if someone had been looking at this monthly. The turning point. When we showed him the full picture, the collection timing, the expense drift, the real cost of his labor, it wasn't shocking, it was clarifying. He could see exactly when the cash gaps were forming. He could see which months were going to be tight before they arrived. He could see what the business actually cost to run when his own work was priced properly. He started staggering projects to smooth out collections. He reviewed his vendor contracts and renegotiated a couple of them. He built a model that showed what hiring a project manager would actually do to the numbers and when it would make sense. Same revenue, completely different position. What a monthly review actually looks like. This is the part most people skip. Not why to review monthly, but what to actually look at. Here's what we cover every month with clients. Takes about 45 minutes. Cash position first. What's in the account, what's expected to arrive in the next 30 days, what's committed to go out. This tells you if you have a gap forming before it becomes a crisis. Revenue against target. Not just whether revenue is up, whether it's tracking against the budget set at the start of the year. If it's below, you have time to adjust. If you find out in December, you don't. Margin by service or project type. Which work is actually profitable this month? Is anything drifting from last month? A small move caught early is a 5-minute conversation. Caught after 12 months, it's a restructuring. 4. Upcoming obligations. Payroll, quarterly taxes, loan payments, mapped out 60 days ahead. No surprises, just a clear view of what's coming so you can see if the cash holds. 4 things, 45 minutes, once a month. That's the difference between knowing what's happening and finding out what happened. The lesson: the contractor didn't fail. He course corrected because he could finally see clearly. But the window between this is drifting and this is a real problem is shorter than most founders think. And once a year reviews only show you the problem after the window has closed. Monthly is the only standard, not because it takes a lot of time, because it's the only frequency that gives you enough time to actually do something about what you find. Subscribe for more on what a financial rhythm actually looks like in a service business. And if you want to build one, the link below is where to start.